Today, there are over 8 billion humans living on Earth. We've mastered this planet, and for a long time, we thought we knew the entire story of our success. A steady, triumphant march from the savannah to the skyscraper. But what if one of the most important chapters of human history was written not in Africa, the cradle of humanity, but on a tiny, forgotten island in Southeast Asia? We're talking about Flores, a rugged, isolated Indonesian island. It's a beautiful place, famous for its volcanoes and Komodo dragons. In 2003, a team of archaeologists began excavating a remote cave there called Liang Bua. They were looking for ancient stone tools, standard historical stuff. What they found, however, turned our entire understanding of human evolution into dust. Deep inside that cave, they uncovered a tiny, near-complete skeleton. It was unlike anything they had ever seen. It was fully human-shaped, walked upright, and yet it was minuscule. An adult, but only about 3 feet tall. Its brain was no bigger than a modern chimpanzee's. The discoverers nicknamed it the Hobbit, after J.R.R. Tolkien's small, resourceful fictional race. This was no child. This was a new, distinct species of human, which scientists formally named Homo Floresiensis. The initial reaction from the scientific community was outright disbelief. They argued it must be a diseased Homo sapiens, a modern human suffering from microcephaly, or another condition that stunted growth. But as more bones were uncovered, the evidence became undeniable. This was a stable, island population of small ancient humans who had existed there for tens of thousands of years. The truly shocking part was their age. These tiny people were living and making sophisticated stone tools as recently as 50,000 years ago. Think about that. 50,000 years ago is exactly when our species, Homo sapiens, was confidently spreading out of Africa and colonizing the globe. We thought we were the only game in town. We imagined ourselves encountering just the Neanderthals and the Denisovans. But on this one, small island, there was an entirely different lineage, a third kind of human, that had survived long enough to watch Homo sapiens sail past their shores. So, how did they get there? And why were they so small? The leading theory is that they descended from an earlier, larger species, probably Homo erectus, who somehow managed to make a perilous crossing over the open ocean to Flores about 1 million years ago. Being on a small island with limited resources then triggered a rapid, dramatic evolutionary process known as insular dwarfism. When large animals are trapped on islands with limited food and no major predators, they often shrink over generations. This is an efficient survival strategy. Smaller bodies need less fuel. The Hobbit was a supreme example of this phenomenon, mirroring the island's own pygmy elephants, which also shrank to about the size of a modern cow. But here's the true paradox. Despite their tiny brains, the hobbits were highly resourceful. They hunted the island's small elephants, butchered them efficiently, and created sophisticated, sharp stone tools. This small-brained species was demonstrating complex behaviors that we usually associate only with large-brained humans like ourselves. Their existence forces us to completely rethink the simple notion that human success is solely measured by cranial capacity.